Hey guys, today I want to talk about the UFX Plus from RME. I've used that interface for a really long time with amazing results, but something changed when I moved to Mac a couple of years back. RME is known for the drivers and the stability of their units. They are known for delivering updates and supporting their products for more than a decade, and I know that because I've used the UFX Plus for more than 5 years and they've regularly updated the drivers, the firmware, so it was a beautiful experience in that regard. Build quality, rugged, superb, metal. I had no issue in moving the unit around the studio, changing the place in the rack. This is a unit that will not break easily. When it comes to the sound quality, there isn't too much to talk about here because RME delivers a clean sound. That's it. The preamps are excellent, and the fact that you have DSP on board, you can use reverb, delays, helps with the recording if you are a recording engineer. Also, RME delivers a really low latency. Now, when it comes to connectivity, the UFX Plus is a studio hub. You have almost everything. You have MADI, you have ADAT, you have AAS, you have USB, you have Thunderbolt. Everything that you wish for in audio interface is there. I don't think that I've missed something when it comes to connectivity. At a point I had a fairly complex setup with multiple converters, and UFX Plus was handling all of that with no issue at all. When I was on Windows, it was superb. You had the flexibility, you had the option to route anything to anywhere. It was a different experience from Mac OS. Now I want to talk about why I left it behind. My issues with the unit started when I switched from Windows to Mac OS. And that was around the time when Apple introduced the silicon chips. With the silicon chips, I don't know what changed. I am not blaming RME or anything like that, but the entire process from installing the drivers became a bit more difficult. I don't have experience with other companies in that regard. I think all the companies had to go through the same process, but the RME drivers weren't that good at first on Mac OS. I don't know why, but that's just my experience with it. I lost the ability to use loopback, and that was a really big thing for me since I am a content creator. I was getting glitches just from regular use. Just browsing the internet and watching YouTube videos was causing glitches, and I am not the only one with this behavior. I have colleagues that have RME devices that are on Mac OS, and they had a similar experience. Random glitches out of nowhere. And it really depends on the updates that Mac provided, RME provided. Sometimes the glitches were happening way often. Sometimes there were days where no glitches were happening. It was random. So the unpredictable behavior was one thing that made me consider switching to a different brand. Do I regret leaving RME and the UFX Plus behind? To be honest, I have zero regrets because the new system that I have, the universal audio interfaces, behave perfect. I have no glitches, everything is working fine. I am not constantly terrified when I have a client in the studio that some random pops, some random bursts of noise will come out of the unit. So I'm really happy with my decision. I'm not saying that the UFX Plus is a bad interface. I think it's probably the best interface that you can get for Windows. I think RME does a beautiful job with the drivers on Windows. They are not that great on Mac OS, and like I've said, this is my experience with RME and the unit. For Mac, I think Universal Audio does a better job on the drivers. I have friends with Universal Audio interfaces on Windows and they are not that happy. So I think if you are on Windows, go with RME. If you are on Mac, go with Universal Audio. It's a shame that we don't have consistency between PC and Mac. I know that's not the fault of RME or Universal Audio or other companies. My decision was driven by the need for stability. I was getting sick and tired of the glitches, the randomness of the glitches. The glitches were short bursts of noises. At the end of the video, I want to mention that I have nothing against RME. I had great interactions with their support. Unfortunately, the UFX Plus wasn't delivering for me on my system. It can be an isolated case, but that's why I think reviews or updates like this are really great, because at some point I felt that I was crazy. I was feeling that I was the only one experiencing this sort of glitches and problem with RME until I met my colleague that had the same issues. At the end of the day, RME is still a great company. This was my experience with UFX Plus. Superb on Windows, but I had issues with glitches on macOS. I hope that this video helps you out. If it did, subscribe, drop a like. If you want more in-depth content, join me on Patreon. Thanks for the support and see you guys really soon. Cheers.